If you're hoping to become a more captivating and unforgettable personality with your friends or acquaintances, note that there are some basic, yet not so effortlessly attainable, guidelines that correspond with human behavior, rather than contradicting it. These principles are quite simple, yet don't underestimate the fact that these rules necessitate both persistence and exertion. After all, acquiring the means to engross others involves overhauling the fundamental aspects of your current habits and personality. Let's take a moment before we begin and ensure that we are both aligned on the concept of being interesting. There are many interpretations of interesting, but according to the Oxford Dictionary, it means arousing curiosity or interest, holding or catching attention. We can agree that being interesting means catching someone's attention and interest, standing out and making them want to spend more time with you in the future. Being interesting requires a balance of being informative and entertaining. You can use humor to lighten the mood, cite interesting statistics to support your position, or ask thought-provoking questions to get people thinking. There is science behind what makes someone interesting. It may surprise you to learn that people who showcase dark triad characteristics, narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellianism, are often viewed as charming and captivating on account of their confidence and magnetic personalities. Studies have shown that these attributes can be especially useful when combined with storytelling, as it is a potent technique to engage an audience emotionally and establish a deeper connection. By weaving in personal stories and anecdotes, you can more effectively connect with your audience than with plain factual data. Why not add elements of storytelling to your presentations to enliven them and sustain your audience's interest? So, let's dive into the concrete ways that you can become more interesting and captivating. Our brains have a natural inclination to seek out new and interesting things. When presented with something unusual, studies have demonstrated that our brains release heightened levels of dopamine due to the novelty. This is due to our reward pathways evolving to detect and focus on fresh and peculiar stimuli. Oxford defines interesting as something that arouses curiosity and catches our attention. When we first encounter something that is new and interesting, we feel a sense of curiosity and fascination that draws our attention in. However, our brains also have a flip side to this fascination with novelty. In addition to being fascinated by new things, our brains have evolved to ignore objects and activities that are not interesting. Our brains have a remarkable ability to distill complex and overwhelming sensory input into manageable, meaningful information. In our early evolution, this capacity was limited by scarce computational power and resource expense. What emerged was an intrinsic mechanism to reduce the workload by filtering out the irrelevant and uninteresting details that would have interfered with our survival and ability to thrive. This adaptation has been passed down through generations and still plays a vital role in our psychology today. Our minds assimilate new and unique stimuli. Simultaneously, our brains also disregard information that is deemed irrelevant. This highlights the significance of keeping things lively and thrilling, whether it involves our personal lives or the content we generate for others. Gradually, everything that wasn't deemed a threat or a prospective reward was disregarded by the brain. Unfortunately, the human mind still has this tendency to fade away from anything that fails to grab our attention. As we progressed, our minds grew accustomed to valuing certain things while disregarding others. This conduct continues in the present day, as any element that is regarded as unimportant or dull will be cast aside and rapidly neglected. Despite being a disheartening fact, it remains the unsparing reality of our world. By understanding the human brain and its relation to novelty, you can tackle two problems in modern society that are making you less interesting. So why not start today? Take on the challenge to be someone who stands out from the crowd by being engaging and interesting. When it comes to blending in, one thing is for sure, people are masters at it. But why? What drives this urge to assimilate with the crowd? perhaps it's an irrational fear rooted in our tribal past. In former times, being distinctive in any way exposed a person to risk since they could potentially be barred from the group or more. Consequently, it is common practice in contemporary times to adhere to similar cultural trends, such as enjoying the same music, watching the same movies, and socializing at the same nightclubs as everyone else. We conform to popular opinions, concur when everyone else agrees, and solely object if it's within the agreed boundaries. We hide behind bland, uninspired conversation, the fear of saying something deemed out of line, weighing heavily on our minds. It's not surprising that we often excel at fitting in, to a certain extent, it's what we aspire to achieve. However, by conforming, we risk surrendering the qualities that make us distinct, our perspectives, our concepts, even our essence. Therefore, it may be the appropriate moment to accept the concept of standing out. After all, it's our individuality that shapes the world. To become more interesting, the initial tip is to avoid blending in. It's imperative to resist the urge to conform to societal norms and instead express yourself confidently. Even if it means going out of your comfort zone, you should freely share your opinions and ideas since nobody else on this planet is quite like you. Letting your unique individuality shine through and having the courage to communicate it to others is what separates a fascinating person from everybody else. Unfortunately, we often become disconnected from our authentic selves as we try to copy others. But, by consistently remaining true to ourselves, without seeking apologies, we move closer to evolving into our most fascinating selves. Living in the most comfortable conditions known to mankind is a truth that cannot be denied. Today, we have luxuries at our fingertips, readily available food, screen entertainment, and non-negotiable shelter with a cozy bed. It's unsurprising that we spend most of our time in the comforts of our very own comfort zones, indulging in our own security. However, our comfort zone can become toxic to our growth and expansion. Trying new things, stepping outside of our sheltered lives, and extending our boundaries is key to becoming an interesting person. Remember, an exciting and fulfilling life is one that pushes boundaries and challenges comfort. There are no shortcuts or magic formulas to being more interesting. In order to become that fascinating person, you must actively pursue interesting things that make you unique. This involves exploring new journeys, such as hiking, reading books from various periods, learning artistic skills like drawing, scuba diving, songwriting, or coding. To try new activities like ice skating, gaining new hobbies, and cultivating an interest in arts, history, and sciences. Though it is a challenging process, by persisting in the pursuit of diverse interests, it will ultimately enhance several dimensions of your life. As you begin to expose yourself to new experiences, you will learn and accumulate wisdom that will provide you with unique anecdotes to share. This transformation will undoubtedly position you as an interesting and memorable person, particularly if you follow two essential tips: avoid conformism so as not to become unremarkable, and regularly explore out of your comfort zone to encounter life on different levels. These steps alone will secure your distinction as the most intriguing person in any scene. Naturally, confidence, social skills, and humor are additional traits that may contribute to broadening your appeal. But by following these two core practices, you should expect to derive approximately 80% of your desired impact. Ultimately, your end goal is probably not merely to captivate others. It's likely more important to discover your fascinating and authentic self. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the bell to receive notifications when new content is posted, and as always, remember to take time to exhale.